Part 1. The Whispering Winds of Elarion. In the time before time, when the world was young and the stars were but newly cast, there lay Aetharion, a realm woven with threads of magic and mystery, of ancient oaths and enduring destinies. Dominating this grand tapestry was the land of Elarion, where the whispering winds carried echoes of forgotten songs and the lingering scent of dreams. Elarion's heart was its enchanted forests, a boundless expanse where silver-leafed trees brushed the sky and luminescent flowers cast a spectral glow upon the mossy earth. It was said that the very breath of the ancient world coursed through these woods, giving life to creatures both wondrous and strange, and if one listened keenly, imparting secrets lost to mortal memory. In the village of Lirenthil, nestled at the forest's edge, dwelt Elenara, a maiden whose eyes mirrored the azure of the summer sky. Her spirit was as unyielding as the mountains that fringed the northern horizon, her heart a vessel of kindness and courage. Yet in the depths of her soul there stirred a longing as old as the world itself, an echo of a destiny unspoken. Elenara often wandered the forest paths, her feet treading soft upon the age-old leaves. On a fateful day, when the dawn's light danced through the trees like liquid gold, she chanced upon a clearing, serene and still as a dream unfurling. There, amidst a circle of stones draped in ivy, lay a crystalline pool. Its waters shimmered with ethereal light, reflecting not the skies above, but realms unseen and untouched by time. Kneeling by the pool, Elenara dipped her hand into the cool depths. As the ripples spread, a vision unfurled, a city of marble and starlight, its towers reaching towards the heavens, surrounded by a sea of shadows. A voice, ancient and wise, whispered in the wind, "The time has come, fair Elenara. The oath must be fulfilled. The path must be walked. Seek the keeper of the last light." Startled, yet strangely compelled, Elenara withdrew her hand, watching the vision dissolve into the pool's depths. Heart racing with the thrill of discovery and dread of the unknown, she knew her destiny awaited beyond the bounds of her simple life. Returning to Lirenthil, Elenara found solace in the company of Eldrin, her steadfast companion and keeper of lore. Eldrin was a man of years yet untouched by time's weary hand, his gaze forever alight with curiosity and an unspoken sadness. Together, they had often pondered the stars and the mysteries they held, but never had the stars felt so close as now. Upon hearing her tale, Eldrin's eyes widened with recognition and fear. "The keeper of the last light," he mused, voice tinged with reverence. "Long have I studied the legends, yet this is a name whispered only in the oldest of texts, a guardian of realms beyond our ken. If it is to them you must go, the journey will be perilous, but you shall not go alone." Thus it was that Elenara and Eldrin set forth from Lirenthil, their path leading them through the heart of Elarion, across fields of swaying wildflowers, and valleys where rivers sang to the sky. Every step carried them further, into a world both familiar and strange, where the air itself seemed charged with a sense of unfolding fate. Their path soon led them to the Ebonwood, a forest older than memory, where shadows danced and whispered secrets upon the wind. Here the trees stood like ancient sentinels, their bark etched with runes of power and remembrance. It was said that many who entered the Ebonwood disappeared, claimed by the forest's insatiable hunger for secrets. Guided by the whispers of the wind, they pressed onward, until they came upon a towering oak, its branches like arms reaching for the heavens. Beneath its boughs sat a figure cloaked in shadow, the very air around them shimmering with an otherworldly light. "Welcome, seekers," intoned the figure, their voice an echo of ages long past. "I am Seraphis, keeper of the last light." Elenara stepped forward, heart aflame with purpose. "Seraphis, I have been drawn by a vision, a prophecy of a shattered oath. What is the path I must tread?" Seraphis inclined their head, eyes gleaming with an inner light. "The path is wrought with trials, for the balance of Aetharion teeters on the edge of dusk. The light you seek is hidden within the cradle of stars, a realm both near and far, where the oath was first forged and where it must be renewed." Eldrin, ever the seeker of truth, spoke with urgency. "And what of the shadows that encircle the marble city? What lies in wait for us?" "A darkness long forgotten," replied Seraphis, "one that stirs with the breaking of the oath, a force that seeks to shroud the world in shadow once more." With these words, the winds stirred, whispering promises of hope and doom. Elenara and Eldrin, resolute in the face of destiny's call, knew their journey was but beginning. The road ahead was fraught with peril, yet they felt the light of Aetharion burn brightly within their hearts, guiding them onward into the depths of fate. And so, beneath the ancient boughs of ebonwood, with the keeper's blessing upon them, and the whispering winds as their guide, they stepped into the unknown, carrying with them the hope of a world on the brink of twilight, and the promise of a dawn yet to be born. Part 2. The Veils of Shadow. The path through the ebonwood was a tapestry of whispers and shadows, where every step seemed to unravel secrets woven into the fabric of the world. Elenara and Eldrin moved cautiously, their senses attuned to the forest's silent songs, a symphony of rustling leaves and distant echoes. As they ventured deeper, the light grew dim, filtered through a canopy so dense it seemed to drink the very sun. Here, the air was thick with the scent of earth and ancient magic, a power that slumbered beneath the forest floor. It was then, in the heart of this arboreal labyrinth, that they encountered the Veils of Shadow. The veils were mists that danced between the trees, shimmering with an ethereal glow that pulsed like the heartbeat of the forest. Eldrin, ever the scholar, whispered in awe, "The veils are said to guard the paths to hidden realms. They reveal only to those who seek with true purpose." Elenara, emboldened by the weight of her quest, stepped forward. As the mists parted, a path unfolded before them, leading to a glade where moonlight pooled like liquid silver. There stood the Lady of the Mists, her form both ethereal and regal, woven from light and shadow. "Who dares tread the paths of the veils?" her voice echoed, resonant as the chime of distant bells. Elenara met the lady's gaze, unwavering. "I am Elenara of Liranthil, seeking passage to the cradle of stars to renew the shattered oath." The lady regarded her with eyes that held the weight of ages. "The cradle lies beyond the veils, but the path is fraught with trials to test your heart and soul. Will you endure what the mists reveal?" Elenara nodded, determination shining fierce in her eyes. "I will, for the light must endure." The Lady of the Mists beckoned them forward, the mist swirling in her wake like a cloak of stars. As they moved, the veils danced around them, whispering secrets of old, and the path twisted through realms forgotten by time. The first trial they faced was the Cave of Echoes, a vast chamber, where every word spoken was mirrored 1,000-fold. Here, the echoes did not merely repeat, but twisted truth into deception, weaving webs of doubt and fear. Elenara and Eldrin paused, the air thick with the sound of their own voices, distorted and foreign. "Beware," Eldrin cautioned, "for the echoes can unravel the mind and heart." They pressed on, speaking little, their resolve tested by the voices that taunted and tempted, shadows of their own uncertainties, given life by the cave's magic. At last, they emerged into daylight, the echoes silenced, their spirits tempered by the trial's fire. Beyond the Cave of Echoes lay the River of Memory, its waters a flowing tapestry of past and future. Serene and mesmerizing, the river held the power to reveal one's deepest truths and hidden fears. Elenara gazed into the crystalline depths, where visions of her past life danced over the waters. Her childhood in Laranthil, moments of joy and sorrow, all unfolded before her eyes. Yet within those reflections lurked shadows, fears of failure, of a world lost to darkness. Beside her, Eldrin too peered into the waters, his own past laid bare. Memories of long-lost loves and dreams unfulfilled stirred in the depths. Yet, in those reflections, he found strength, the resolve to protect the world he cherished. With newfound clarity, they crossed the river, fording the waters with hearts unburdened by the weight of doubt. As they stepped onto the far shore, the veils of shadow parted once more, revealing a landscape caught between twilight and dawn. Here, the air was alive with magic, shimmering with a light that seemed to pulse with the world's rhythm. And at the heart of this place stood a gateway, formed from living wood and stone, pulsing with a gentle, inviting light. Elenara turned to Eldrin, her resolve stronger than ever. The cradle of stars lies beyond. Whatever fate awaits us, we shall face it together. With these words they stepped through the gateway, leaving behind the veils, and entering the realm beyond the reach of mortal eyes. Here, the whispers of the past mingled with the promise of futures yet unwritten, and the path to the cradle of stars unfurled before them, a tapestry of light and destiny. Art 3. The Cradle of Stars. As Elenara and Eldrin crossed the threshold of the gateway, they stepped into a world transcendent in its beauty, where the sky was a vast canvas of swirling constellations, and the air danced with the soft chiming of distant celestial spheres. This was the Cradle of Stars, a sanctum where the ancient oaths of Aetharion were born and sealed. The earth beneath their feet was a mosaic of stardust and crystal, each step resonating with a melody that seemed to echo the heartbeat of the cosmos. As they ventured deeper into this ethereal domain, they found themselves within a meadow that glimmered under the starlight, like a tapestry woven from the dreams of the universe. In the heart of the meadow stood a circle of arches, each one carved from a single, seamless piece of starstone. These arches pulsed with a light that ebbed and flowed like the tides of the sea, their surfaces inscribed with runes that sang of creation and eternity. Awed by the spectacle, Elenara approached the nearest arch, her fingers grazing the runes. As her touch met the cold stone, the runes flared to life, casting a warm, golden light. With a soft whisper, they spoke to her mind and heart, revealing truths hidden in the fabric of time. Elenara, seeker of the light, a voice intoned, its words woven from the threads of the stars themselves. Your journey has led you to the heart of destiny. Here, you must confront the shadows that dwell within, for only then can the oath be renewed. Eldrin, standing beside her, marveled at the arches. These stones, he breathed, they hold the memory of the world, a record of all that has been and shall be. Elenara nodded, understanding dawning upon her. The journey to the cradle was not merely to renew an oath, but to face the deepest shadows that threatened to consume both the world and her own spirit. As if summoned by her resolve, a shadow emerged from beyond the arches. It coalesced into a form both familiar and alien, its essence a mirror of Elenara's own fears and doubts. The shadow spoke, its voice a sinister echo of her own. What makes you worthy to wield the light, Elenara? What gives you the strength to stand against the darkness? For a moment, doubt flickered within her heart, the weight of the world a heavy burden upon her shoulders. But then she remembered the journey, the trials faced, and the companions who stood beside her. It is not the strength of a single heart that binds the light, she replied, her voice firm and clear, but the union of many, the courage to uphold hope, to fight for a world yet to be. I accept my fears, for they are part of me, but they shall not define my path. The shadow hesitated, its form wavering as though caught in a tempest of light. Beside her, Eldrin placed a steadying hand on her shoulder, lending his strength to hers. Together, their light blazed against the shadow, driving it back into the depths from which it had arisen. As the shadow dissipated, the arches blazed with renewed luminescence, their runes singing a song of unity and balance. In that moment, the cradle of stars was suffused with a light so pure and profound that it seemed to touch the very essence of creation. Elenara and Eldrin stood in the radiant glow, their hearts lifted by the triumph of their spirit. The oath had been renewed, and with it, the promise of a new dawn for Aetharion. Yet as they basked in this victory, a whisper reached them, carried on the celestial winds. A new truth awaits, beyond the paths of light and shadow. Seek the sanctuary of the first dawn, where the threads of fate are woven anew. With this enigma echoing in their minds, Elenara and Eldrin knew their journey was far from over. For beyond the cradle of stars lay a destiny yet to be forged, a tale yet to be told in the annals of time. Together they prepared to step beyond the starlit realm, their hearts united by the light of hope and the promise of adventures yet to come. End. Part 4. The Sanctuary of the First Dawn. Leaving the cradle of stars behind, Elenara and Eldrin ventured into the realm of dawn, where the sky was painted with hues of gold and crimson, and the light of creation spilled over the world like molten fire. Guided by the whisper of starlight and the promise of mysteries yet untold, they made their way toward the sanctuary of the first dawn, a place where the threads of fate were woven into the very fabric of existence. The path led them through valleys where rivers of light flowed, their waters reflecting the nascent sky, and over hills where the earth hummed with the songs of ancient beginnings. Each step brought them closer to a truth hidden beneath layers of time and myth. At last they arrived at the threshold of the sanctuary, carved into the side of a mountain that touched the heavens. The entrance was a magnificent archway, its surface etched with symbols of the first light, glowing softly in the dawn's embrace. Upon entering, they found themselves in a vast chamber, its ceiling high and vaulted, encrusted with glimmering crystals that mirrored the morning light. In the center stood an enormous loom, woven not from thread and fiber, but from strands of pure light, its frame crafted from the bones of the earth itself. Beside the loom stood a figure, robed in garments that shimmered with the colors of the dawn. Their eyes were deep wells of wisdom and kindness, reflecting the eternal cycle of creation. This was Terion, the weaver of fates, who tended the loom and the destinies it spun. "Welcome, seekers," Aetharion greeted, their voice a harmonious blend of warmth and authority. "You come at a time when the world's tapestry must be rewoven, for the balance of light and shadow teeters on the edge of discord." Elenara felt the weight of Aetharion's words, understanding the gravity of their presence here. "We have renewed the oath, yet the shadows stir still. How may we aid in the weaving of this balance?" Aetharion gestured to the loom, where threads of light and shadow intertwined in a dance of endless complexity. Each thread represents a life, a choice, a destiny. To restore balance, the past must be unraveled, and a new thread must be woven. But beware, for the loom reveals not only what was and is, but what could be. As they watched, the threads shimmered and shifted, revealing visions of potential futures, some filled with verdant light, others cloaked in shadow. Elenara saw herself standing alongside Eldrin, their hands entwined with others, forming a chain of unity stretching across the land. Eldrin, too, saw visions, yet within them lay the shadow of betrayal, of choices made in desperation that could unravel the fragile peace they sought. "Choose wisely," Aetharion cautioned, their gaze steady, for the loom does not lie, but it is ever-changing, shaped by the hearts and hands of those who dare to weave. Elenara, heart alight with belief and resolve, approached the loom. She reached for a thread of silver light, entwining it with strands of deep emerald and soft twilight, a blend of hope and perseverance. Beside her, Eldrin reached for a thread of warm gold, weaving it with strands of loyalty and courage. As their hands moved in unison, the tapestry grew, vibrant and harmonious, a testament to the light that dwells within every shadow. In that moment, they understood their power not only to follow the threads of fate, but to shape them, to bind light with shadow in a dance of eternal balance. With the tapestry woven, Aetharion nodded in approval. "You have chosen well, young weavers. Remember, the path of destiny is not set, but ever-changing. Walk it with the courage to face the unknown, and the light to guide you through the dark." As they turned to leave the sanctuary, the dawn broke in full splendor outside, casting the world in a new light. Elenara and Eldrin stepped forth, their hearts buoyed by the promise of their woven tapestry, ready to face the uncertainties of the world beyond. For the light of the first dawn now burned within them, a beacon of hope and unity, a reminder that the journey of Aetharion was not theirs alone to bear, but a shared destiny, waiting to be woven into the stars. Part 5. The Gathering Storm. Elenara and Eldrin emerged from the sanctuary of the first dawn, the air charged with a renewed sense of purpose. Yet as they descended the mountain, a chill crept into the air, a herald of the storm that gathered on the horizon. The light they carried within was strong, but the world beyond still lay shrouded in uncertainty, and the whispers of a rising darkness echoed through the valleys. The path led them to a village nestled in the shadow of the mountains, a place known as Starhaven. It was a settlement of humble folk, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of the earth and sky. Yet a somber air clung to the village, as though the very land sighed under a weight unseen. Elenara and Eldrin were welcomed with cautious hope, the villagers' eyes searching theirs for answers, for salvation from a threat that clung like mist. They soon learned of a dark force that had emerged from the north, a shadow that crept across the land, leaving barren fields and withered spirits in its wake. Among the villagers was an elder, wise and contemplative, known as Mylus. She sought them out, her eyes sharp, with the keenness of one who sees beyond the veil of the present. "You carry the light of the sanctuary within you," Mylus observed, her voice a gentle caress of certainty. "But light alone cannot quell the storm. To face the darkness, you must gather allies, for unity is the strongest shield against the shadows." Eldrin nodded, understanding the truth in her words. Where might we find those who will stand with us against the gathering storm? Mylus gestured toward the distant hills, where the wind whispered through the heather like a lament. Beyond the valley of echoing winds lies the city of Orenthar, where the Order of the Silver Flame resides. They are protectors of the realm, sworn to defend against the darkness that would consume us. With gratitude, Elenara and Eldrin set forth, the path to Orenthar unfolding through landscapes both serene and foreboding. As they traveled, they encountered others who had heard the call, wanderers and warriors, scholars and bards, each drawn by the promise of a new dawn. Among them was Isolde, a bard of the wandering clans, whose voice could weave tales as vivid as dreams. Her presence was a balm to their weariness, her songs a reminder of the joy that still lingered in the world. They also met Torin, a warrior from the southern plains, his heart as steadfast as the earth he hailed from. He joined their company with a resolve to protect and to fight for a world he believed was worth saving. Together, they braved the valley of echoing winds, where the air was alive with the voices of those who had walked the path before, their words a constant reminder of the legacy they carried. Upon reaching Orenthar, they found a city of light and beauty, its towers gleaming beneath the sun's embrace. The Order of the Silver Flame welcomed them with open arms, their leader, Lady Seraphine, a figure of grace and authority. "The shadows rise, but they shall not find us unprepared," Lady Seraphine declared, her gaze fierce and unwavering. "With the strength of our alliance, we shall stand against the dark, for together we form a beacon of hope that shall not be extinguished." And so, within the halls of Orenthar, a pact was forged. Warriors and mages, scholars and bards, all united by a shared purpose to safeguard Aetharion from the encroaching night. As the sun set beyond the walls of Orenthar, the newfound company stood beneath the stars, their hearts alight with the shared light of courage and unity. They knew the journey ahead would be fraught with peril, yet emboldened by the bonds they had formed, they were ready to confront the storm and weave their tapestry of destiny into the fabric of the world. For now, they understood that the light they carried was not solely their own, but a spark kindled by the multitude, a light that would guide them through the darkest of nights toward the dawn of a new age. End. Part 6. The Forge of Shadows. As the dawn broke over Orenthar, casting its golden glow across the city's spires, Elenara awoke with a renewed sense of purpose. The company gathered in the great hall, where maps unfurled upon a stone table revealed the expanse of Aetharion before them, a land both beautiful and besieged. Lady Seraphine stood at the head of the table, her presence a beacon of resolve. To quell the darkness, we must strike at its heart. The source of the shadow lies in the iron wastes, where the forge of shadows churns out its malignancy unchecked. The name sent a shiver through the assembly, for the forge was a place of legend and dread, a fortress of dark power, long thought lost to time. It was said to be where the shadows were born, an anvil on which the darkness shaped its armies. "We must venture forth," declared Torin, his voice a rallying call, "to face the shadow at its source and unmake its forge." With consensus reached, plans were laid for the expedition. The journey would be long and fraught with danger, for the Iron Wastes were a desolate expanse where few dared tread. Yet fortified by unity and determination, the company set forth from Arenthar, a convoy of hope against the encroaching night. Their path led them through the vast woodlands of Elarion, where the trees whispered songs of old, and creatures both fair and fearsome wandered amidst the shadows. The air was sweet with the scent of pine and loam, a reminder of the world they fought to protect. It was during these travels that they encountered Aelith, a sorceress of the deep woods, her hair a cascade of raven black, entwined with silver threads. She joined their company with a silent grace, her magic a weave of subtle power and mystery. As they ventured beyond the forests, into the barren lands of the Iron Wastes, the landscape shifted to one of stark desolation. Here the earth was scorched and lifeless, the sky a perpetual overcast of ash and soot. The air was thick with the acrid scent of smoke, stinging their eyes and lungs. In the heart of this forsaken realm lay the Forge of Shadows, a fortress of iron and stone, its battlements looming like the jagged teeth of some primordial beast. From within its depths came the sound of hammer and anvil, a relentless beat that resonated with malevolent intent. The company approached with caution, their faces set with grim determination. As they neared the entrance, the shadowy guardians of the forge emerged, creatures forged from darkness, wrought with iron and malice. Their eyes burned with an inner fire, and their claws were sharp as obsidian. "Hold fast!" cried Eldrin, drawing upon the light of the stars. His staff ablaze with radiant energy. The company formed ranks, warriors and mages united against the dark tide. Aelith's magic wove through the air like silver strands, binding the shadows and unraveling their strength. Isolde's songs rose in defiance, bolstering their spirits and weaving a shield of sound that turned aside the shadow's onslaught. Amidst the fray, Elenara's resolve burned bright, her blade a beacon in the gloom. She fought with the strength of the light within her, each strike a reminder of the dawn they sought to bring forth. The battle raged at the gates of the forge, a tempest of light and shadow. Yet united by purpose and heart, the company pressed forward, their light driving back the darkness. At last, they breached the iron gates, entering the heart of the forge. Here, amidst the smoldering embers and the clangor of unseen hammers, they beheld the source of the shadow's power, a great anvil, upon which the darkness was wrought. The air thrummed with energy, resonant with the pulse of creation, turned to darker purposes. Elenara, guided by the light within, approached the anvil, her heart a medley of hope and determination. With a single echoing strike of her blade imbued with starlight, the anvil shattered, its pieces dissolving into nothingness. As the forge's dark heart was extinguished, the shadows that had plagued the land withered and fell, their forms dissolving into the wind. The company stood victorious, the light of their triumph illuminating the Iron Wastes. Together they emerged from the forge, stepping into a land renewed by their courage and sacrifice. The clouds parted, allowing the sun's rays to bathe the world in golden light, a promise of the dawn they had fought to reclaim. For in their unity they had forged a new path, a testament to the strength of light over shadow, a beacon that would guide Aetharion through the ages to come. Part 7. The Tides of Time. With the Forge of Shadows vanquished and the dawn restored to Aetharion's horizons, Elenara and her companions found themselves hailed as saviors of the realm. Yet, amid the celebration and relief that washed over the land, a subtle unease lingered within Elenara's heart, an echo of something left unresolved, a whisper at the edge of consciousness. Guided by this distant call, Elenara withdrew to the quietude of the forests, seeking the solace of nature's embrace. Eldrin, ever perceptive of her moods, joined her, the pair venturing into the shade of ancient oaks where the world seemed untouched by the passage of time. There, within a clearing washed in dappled sunlight, they discovered an elder grove where the trees stood like statues of the ages, their branches woven with the stories of the world. Amidst the grove's roots lay a pool, its surface as reflective as a mirror, holding within it the mysteries of the past and future. As Elenara approached, the waters began to stir, revealing a vision, a vast ocean under a twilight sky, where stars danced upon the waves, and time itself seemed to ebb and flow like the tides. From within the depths, a voice emerged, resonant and ancient, a thread of prophecy woven into the fabric of the world. Elenara, bearer of light, the path is not yet complete. Beyond the horizon, the tides of time await, holding within their grasp the truth of what was and what yet may be. Eldrin watched as the vision unfolded, understanding the significance of the revelation. The tides of time, he mused softly, a realm untouched by the constraints of our world. It is said to hold the knowledge of what was lost, the truths buried beneath the sands of time. With the vision's conclusion, Elenara knew their journey was far from over. Aetharion's fate was intertwined with the threads of time, and to secure the future, they must unravel the mysteries of the past. Returning to their companions, Elenara shared her vision, the urgency of the task clear to all who listened. United once more by purpose, the company set their sights toward the distant shores, toward the tides of time. Their journey took them through fields of endless green, where the wind sang through the heather, and the sky stretched wide and boundless. They traversed rivers that glimmered like ribbons of silver beneath the moon's gaze, and valleys where the earth slept in serene repose. At last, they reached the coast, where the land met the vast expanse of ocean. Here the sea was a living entity, its waves crashing upon the shore in a symphony of power and grace. The air was tinged with the scent of salt and eternity. Upon the sands awaited a figure cloaked in robes of seafoam, their presence as ephemeral as the mist that danced upon the waves. This was Caliph, keeper of the tides, whose eyes held the depths of the ocean and the wisdom of the ages. "Welcome, travelers," Caliph intoned, their voice a harmonious blend of surf and silence. "The tides of time await, and with them the truth you seek. But know this, the journey you undertake will not only reveal the past, but shall shape the path forward." With Caliph's guidance, the company embarked upon a vessel crafted of light and dreams, setting sail upon the starlit ocean. The waters shimmered beneath them, a vast tapestry of time unfolding, revealing glimpses of epochs long past and futures yet unwritten. As they journeyed through the tides, they beheld the rise and fall of empires, the forging of oaths and the breaking of promises. They saw the faces of heroes and villains, the cycle of light and shadow that wove the world's history. And amidst these visions, Elenara found the threads of her own story intertwined with the fate of Aetharion. She saw the legacy of the oath renewed, the potential for both healing and harm, the choices that lay before her. With each revelation, the tapestry of time grew clearer, and the path to balance and harmony came into focus. As they sailed the tides, Elenara understood that their journey was not simply to uncover the past, but to forge a new future, one where light and shadow could coexist in harmony. With the dawn rising upon the horizon, their vessel returned to the shores of Aetharion, carrying within its hold the wisdom of the ages and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. United in purpose and spirit, Elenara and her companions prepared to weave this newfound knowledge into the fabric of their world, a legacy of hope and unity that would endure beyond the bounds of time. Part 8. The Echoes of Eternity. As the vessel of light and dreams returned Elenara and her companions to the shores of Aetharion, they disembarked with a newfound resolve. The revelations unveiled by the tides of time had woven a tapestry of understanding and purpose that now guided their steps. Yet the specter of the shadow, though diminished, was not entirely vanquished. Echoes of its presence lingered, whispering of a deeper darkness concealed within the world's forgotten corners. Determined to confront this latent threat, Elenara and her fellowship ventured toward the ancient city of Valandor, where the echoes of eternity were said to reside. Valandor was a city steeped in history, its streets paved with the stones of ages long past, its towers rising like sentinels toward the heavens. It was here, in this hallowed place, that the echoes of time converged, holding the secrets of what had been and what might yet come to pass. The city's heart lay beyond a threshold of white marble, where intricate patterns of celestial constellations adorned the archway. As they crossed into this realm of echoes, a profound stillness enveloped them, the air resonating with the vibrations of countless voices, each one a fragment of the world's soul. Within Valandor's central plaza stood the Altar of Echoes, a circle of standing stones that hummed with the energy of eternity. At its center lay the Echo Stone, a crystalline monument that captured the luminescence of both sun and star, its surface alive with the dance of memory and possibility. Guarding the altar was Eros, the guardian of echoes, an entity of both flesh and spirit, their form shifting subtly with the currents of time. Eros regarded the travelers with eyes like polished onyx, reflecting both the darkness of ages and the promise of redemption. Seekers of truth, Eros spoke, their voice a chorus of many. The echoes you hear are but reflections of choices made and paths untrodden. To understand the shadow's lingering presence, you must listen to what lies beneath the surface, where light and dark entwine. Elenara stepped forward, feeling the pull of the echo stone. With a deep breath, she placed her hand upon its cool surface. Instantly, she was enveloped in a kaleidoscope of visions, a montage of past deeds, forgotten lore, and the myriad possibilities of what might be. In one vision, she saw the forging of the original oath, a promise woven into the fabric of the world, a covenant of light meant to hold the darkness at bay. Yet beneath this promise lay an imperfection, a fracture that pulsed with potential for both renewal and ruin. Eldrin, observing the visions through his own connection to the Echo Stone, gleaned the threads of wisdom woven into the fabric of time. The oath was never truly broken, but rather it was incomplete. The shadows arose not from its failure, but from its silence. Their path clear, Elenara and her companions sought to mend the fracture, to weave the oath anew with threads of understanding and unity. Guided by Eros and the echoes, they chanted an incantation of harmony, a hymn that resonated to the core of creation. As their voices rose in unison, the echoing fragments began to coalesce, each note a stitch in the tapestry of renewal. Light seeped into the depths of the shadowed chasm, illuminating the darkness with a brilliance that banished the lingering echoes of despair. With the final note of their incantation, the echo stone shone with an inner light, a testament to the harmony achieved. The lingering shadows dissipated, leaving behind a profound sense of peace and balance. Eros watched as the light of their work radiated outward, a beacon of hope for Aetharion. The echoes have spoken, and you have listened well. The path you have forged is one of unity, where light and shadow dance together in harmony. The city of Valandor, once steeped in the echoes of time, now stood as a symbol of renewal, its echoes a gentle reminder of the journey taken and the future yet to unfold. With the echoes of eternity singing in their hearts, Elenara and her companions prepared to return to the world beyond. Fortified by the knowledge that they had not only restored the balance, but had also woven a legacy of light and shadow, a testament to the enduring power of unity and hope. Part 9. The Celestial Accord. Having restored the balance within the echoes of eternity, Elenara and her companions journeyed forth from Valandor, the path to harmony unfurling before them like a river of light. Though the shadows had been dispelled, a deeper calling resonated through Aetharion, a final note in the symphony of their quest yet to be played. The revelation arrived as a whisper on the wind, a summons carried from the ethereal realms beyond the mortal coil. It spoke of the Celestial Accord, a gathering of the ancient powers that shaped the world, and a rare convergence of forces that held the potential to forge a new dawn. Guided by this call, the company turned their steps toward the Celestia Sanctum, a place of myth and legend, where the guardians of the world assembled in times of greatest need. The journey led them through a landscape alive with the promise of spring, where meadows were awash with wildflowers, and the air thrummed with the chorus of nature's rebirth. Upon reaching the foothills of the towering Celestia peaks, they beheld the sanctum's entrance, a portal of light that shimmered like the fabric of the cosmos, its threshold marking the boundary between the world of men and the celestial sphere. Crossing into the sanctum, Elenara felt the very air change. It was lighter, imbued with an energy that sang of eternity. The landscape within was a glistening expanse of ethereal beauty, where streams of starlight flowed between ancient trees, and the sky was a riot of constellations, each star a guardian watching over the realm below. At the heart of the sanctum stood an amphitheater carved from luminous stone, its tiers filled with beings of radiant grace and power. Here gathered the Celestial Accord, a council of ancient spirits and elemental forces, each one a keeper of the world's primal truths. Among them were the Sylvan Elders, whose wisdom was as deep as the roots of the oldest trees, the luminaries, beings of pure light, who guided the stars in their celestial dance, and the Tempestari, masters of the winds and the seas. Stepping forward, Elenara felt their eyes upon her, each gaze a measure of her soul, as if weighing her worth against the vast tapestry of time. Yet within those eyes she found not judgment, but an invitation to partake in the weaving of a new destiny. Elenara, bearer of the renewed oath, spoke Oriel, the luminary who presided over the gathering, their voice a melody of harmony. Your deeds have kindled the light that now guides us. The shadows have been quelled, But the balance of Aetharion requires more than the light of one. It requires the harmony of all. A murmur of assent rippled through the assembly, resonating through the stone amphitheater like the notes of a grand chorus. "We seek a new accord," continued Oriel, "a covenant of unity that binds not only the light and shadow, but the elements and essences of all creation. The world stands upon a precipice, and it is the bond of this accord that shall guide it forward." As the accord unfolded, Elenara and her companions took their places within the circle, each one lending their voice and spirit to the celestial harmony. Together with the accord, they crafted a new covenant, a promise written in the stars and across the face of the world. As their voices rose in unison, a new light dawned over Aetharion, a radiance that touched every corner of the land, infusing it with the strength of their unity and the hope of a future unbound by the chains of fear and division. The celestial accord, now woven into the very fabric of existence, stood as a testament to the power of unity, a legacy that would endure through the ages. With their task complete, the guardians of the sanctum withdrew, leaving Elenara and her companions to carry the light of their accord back to the world they had sworn to protect. Emerging from the sanctum, they found a world reborn, its heart beating with the pulse of the new covenant. The path before them was ineffable, shimmering with the promise of adventures yet to be woven into the grand tapestry of time. A future bright with the dawn of the celestial accord.